Glorious! No, I won't give in till I'm victorious!
Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 982 and today we are back with another brand new video. Today's video we're going to be reacting to Mr. King's statement alongside the season ticket renewals. There's a lot in there, a lot of bites from elsewhere, so we will be breaking that down, getting your thoughts and opinions out there. But before we actually do that though, just a friendly reminder in case you are new around here, make sure you be hitting that subscribe button. I've seen a little interesting stat on the old YouTube analytics. For my regular viewers, there's still 52% of the regular viewers on the channel not hitting that subscribe button yet. So if you didn't mind doing that, that'd be absolutely tremendous. It obviously helps the rest of the nation out as well and helps us on our way towards 55k. But without any further ado, let's just jump into it then, shall we? 3, 2, 1. Story number 1 then, we're going to be reacting to Dave King's statement towards the Rangers fans. Now you might be asking yourself, where does this statement come from? Why is it being announced? It's because it's season ticket renewal day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and the Rangers chairman, as always, is speaking towards the Rangers fans. Now what I'm actually going to do in today's video is just pick a couple little things out from his actual statement. I'm not going to go through the entire thing. I will actually leave that down in the description below, so make sure you be hitting that link if you want to read the full thing. As always, it's pretty lengthy for Mr. Dave King, but it's well worth the read, so I definitely suggest you do that. But what we're going to do today is read out a couple of statements, and I just want to know your thoughts and reactions to these actual words, because honestly, a couple of them really grabbed my attention and I think they're worth talking about, so let's do that then, shall we? Now as always, whenever it's actually a serious matter like quoting the Rangers chairman, I'm just going to read directly from the source, so don't mess this up, because you all know I would. My dad tells me plenty enough. Anyway, right, here we go. Quote, "We are now within tangible reach of Rangers becoming the dominant force in Scottish football again." End quote. Now, if I'm honest with you, this is the biggest one that's been taken away and has been clickbaited by a lot of headlines. I may even quote it down there in the title myself, and I don't really understand why this is getting made of a big deal. Like, why is this such a ludicrous thing to say that some pundits and some people are actually suggesting? Because I think he's quite well within his rights to actually say this. I mean, this is a Rangers chairman who's driving the bus. I mean, Steven Gerrard's the gaffer, but he's the gaffer's gaffer. He knows where he wants to go, and I think you can definitely see improvement this season compared to last season. I think we have closed that gap. I think you've seen that if you look at the old firms in the past. What were they, 4 or 5 goals in every single game basically, to this year where we've kind of traded wins. Whoever's been at home has actually won the Old Firm tie, bar the first game of the season against Celtic where we didn't really turn up. You know what I mean, we turned up a bit scared, we gave them too much time on the ball and we didn't really get in their faces. I know we played in European football with 9 men a couple of days before and that could play its part, but we never really fancied it. We didn't truly believe in that game, but we certainly did in the one just before the turn of the year. And obviously the latest one, I know we lost 2-1, but we were down to 10 men, 1 goal behind at Parkhead, a stadium that we have struggled at for so many years, even with their better teams in the last 15 and 20 years. But we hung in and we dug in and we got back to 1-1 and we looked like we were going to win it if it wasn't for a defensive mistake where we shot ourselves in the foot. If you're not looking at those games of football where it's 1 goal deciding it every single time, a mistake here's deciding it, and you're not seeing a difference from last year when we're getting beat 3 or 4-0, then you're just blinded by hatred, honestly. We were literally up there fighting at the turn of the year before the winter break where we were joint top of the league. Now Celtic, to be fair to them, they showed why they are champions. They responded and go back to winning ways and they found a way to win. We have really struggled and we've shown the experience in winning, but that's a lot to do with the team having 1 year together or less than 6 months together around about that time. You know what I mean? A lot of people's playing in their first main season and dealing with the pressure of winning week in and week out. That's something that can be learned. In fact, it's a very, very good learning experience, so I think he's well within his rights to actually say that. But again, that is just my thoughts and opinion. What about you? Do you think it's a ludicrous idea, or do you think he's well within his rights to actually say that? There's no right or wrong answers, by the way. Just because I've said a certain thing, I don't want you guys just to agree with me. I genuinely just want your honest thoughts, so get your thoughts down there in the comment section below. The second statement that I'm actually going to pick out and discuss: we feel this is not an excessive increase and every fan should know that the season ticket revenue will solely go towards the first team squad. End quote. Now you might be wondering what that's actually referring to. It's obviously just the news that Rangers have increased the season ticket by 5% this year. I mean, everyone was expecting an increase, so I don't think anyone should be shocked at that. 5% I think is actually pretty reasonable. I was expecting a wee bit higher than that. I was discussing it with a couple of boys. You may know them from a certain other podcast, and we were expecting about 7 to maybe even 8%. So 5's not too bad actually, and if I'm honest with you, the fact that he's sort of reassured everyone who is buying a season ticket or renewing it, every single penny of that will be going towards the first team squad, I think that's a very fair, open and honest thing to actually suggest. If it adds another 5% quality to what we already have brought in this this year, I'll be actually pretty damn happy with that one, because that's all we need. We need that extra bit of quality, because that is what we have lacked this season. So if this year's season ticket money sorts that thing that we need badly, fair enough, and I completely understand the 5% price increase. But what do you think about it? You know what to do by now. Now, very briefly, before we move away from the transfer side of things, because I know a lot of people want to know about the transfers and the recruitment style from Mr. Dave King, there's one other thing that was actually discussed regarding that, so let's read out that as well, and I think that kind of perfectly summarises the transfers. The quote was as following: "The team requires a fuller upgrade, and the board will continue to back Mark and Stephen, who fully understand that Rangers must win titles and cups, and plans are already in place for the recruitment in the summer window." Very, very briefly, kind of gave me a bit of a buzz. I was like, yes, we're already working on it. We're already identified transfer targets. And from a selfish point of view, I'm like, yes, the Rangers rumours will now be a bit more interesting for everybody, because they could genuinely be true, because we're already working on them. Yay! Why do I always just clap twice? It's so weird. Can I just do it 3 times? No? Alright, fair enough. Now, the next quote we're actually going to read out is a bit of a lengthy one, so be prepared for a lot of mistake and a lot of jump cuts. Let's do it. He says, "We have also witnessed a significant advancement in the academy under the guidance of Craig Mulholland and his team. This was evidenced by our under-17s who went to Qatar and won the prestigious Alkis Cup. This triumph and the fact that there are more than 20 of our players across all age groups were called up for international duty recently are clear signs that the academy is doing a terrific, terrific job." And I know it's not the most flashy, it's not talking about bringing new players in, but this is developing the boys for the future. Everyone has a soft spot for Ross McCrory. We know how much that guy means to us. This is for the next generation. This is for the next year or two. This is pretty much something that we should have done when we went down to Division 3, if I'm honest with you. Instead of buying all these wasters that we brought in, it was just here for a wage. We should have really been looking at this. But at least we're actually doing it now, and we're already seeing the benefits. This year alone, we've seen Glenn Middleton. Yes, he was brought in from Norwich, but he had that spell with the youth team, and that sort of nurtured him and got him better and got him used to the setup. But even from the Rangers point of view, we have Robbie McCrory, one of the guys that's out on loan just now, proving his name. You've got Zach Rudden scoring goals for fun, Andy Dallas, you've got young Kelly, Jordan Houston. There's so many names that's just on the cusp of breaking through, and that's all down to the academy. So yeah, I just felt that was important to actually mention. It's doing a tremendous job, and yes, it's a bit late. We all wanted this years ago, but at least it's happening now, and in a couple of years time I think there's going to be a lot of academy players in our starting 11. And with all that being said, and Rocky Boy Johnson walking in front of the camera, that is the recap of Dave King's speech, all done and dusted, wrapped up in a neat little bow. Before we actually jump to story number 2 though, with the conversation talking about the youth players and how well they're actually doing down in the reserve league, it's well worth noting that Rangers reserve team bet Celtic's reserve team 2-0 today. 2 goals from Glenn Middleton. Middleton just backed in Middleton Hings. Now, it was actually first versus third, and if Celtic had won, they'd pretty much wrapped up the reserve league. But Rangers won, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, which moves them top of the league on goal difference with only 2 games to go. So massive congratulations to the young Bears and even a couple of the reserves that was playing in the match, wrestling the title away from Celtic. As we were just talking about how good it would be for them to come and get involved with Rangers in a few years' time, winning ways and beating Celtic. That's a good way to start, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Not only was Middleton backed in Middleton Hings, that's his 8th goal in 5 games, by the way. 2 other boys continue to shine, and that's Kai Kennedy, who got another assist today, and also Kelly, who scored that wonderful free kick against Hibs reserves just last week, is back at it with another assist. Also, we need to mention that Andy Firth played. That's right, Andy's probably made the headlines for the wrong reasons in the last week with the whole Snapchat thing and everything like that, for recording boys having a night out, having a laugh. But we'll not go into that whole scenario. But he's actually started a game for the Rangers reserve and kept a clean sheet versus Celtic. Good start, Andy. And last but not least, for the reserve game, Matt Polster played in the game, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That's absolutely amazing. Finally seeing him getting to play some football. Hopefully that means, or maybe a little tease, that he's getting nearer and nearer to be able to play. It's just unfortunate that the Rangers season's coming to an end. But maybe the last 2 games or something of the season we'll see Matty P finally pull on the royal blue of the Glasgow Rangers. But very, very quickly, we're going to wrap up with story number 2, because I just can't go into it, lads. I just can't do it. Not again. It's Dave King versus Sports Direct. The 100th time I've mentioned it on the channel. The battle is still ongoing. I'll leave the links to it in the description for you to read up on it. All that's basically happening is the judge saying, right, we'll look into it more. Dave King's like, okay, and Sports Direct's like, okay. This is it. This is just it for life now. We're in this battle. just get used to it. And that's honestly me all done and dusty for today's video. If you don't mind hitting the like button, that'd be absolutely tremendous. Not only does it help the channel grow, but also shows me you're still enjoying the actual content, which would be nice. And links to the charity football match on June the 8th is down in the description, alongside the Patreon's link, which is helping to support the channel during the latest ad apocalypse. So thank you guys. You guys are absolute legends. If you'd like to join that, once again, you know where the links are by now. I've been CJOver92. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.